All right, so when Brandon and I were talking about putting this first video together, one of the things that came up a lot in the episode from this week was journaling and how it's really helped both of us. And we wanted to give you each practical tips on how to get started with journaling, because it can seem really daunting. It can seem like you're unsure where to begin because it's so open-ended. So what I wanted to do is highlight my 2 favorite ways to get started with journaling, just so you have something right away to put on paper. And this is about creating the habit of journaling. We're not chasing perfection. We're not writing a novel. We're not even writing a story. We're just writing things out in our heads and developing the habit of organizing our thoughts. The first is a form of stream of consciousness journaling. And what that essentially means, I like to call them brain dumps. What that means is I'm going to literally just write the words that are popping up into my head as they're popping up into my head. There's no organization to it. I'm not trying to form sentences even. I'm not even trying to necessarily form a coherent thought. I'm just writing the words that appear in my head as I'm doing it. Sometimes that could literally be as easy as seeing something on the table next to me, coffee thermos, write that down, duct tape, write that down. From there, get the wheels churning. Once you get it going, like I said, it's much easier to keep it going than it is to start. But the idea is get some words down on paper, get your hand and the pen moving. Those ideas will begin to come forth. Maybe it's even as simple as starting like, what's my next thing on my to-do list? Maybe I have to go to the bathroom. I have to go to the bathroom next. It's just the idea, it's the concept of getting the paper filled up with words. It doesn't matter what the words are right now. Get the process down. The second, I'm gonna give you 3 things. 3 things that you're grateful for on this day and why. May seem difficult at first. Maybe there's a bunch of things in your life that are going wrong and it's hard to find what those things are, but I promise you, there are 3 things in your life that you can be thankful and grateful for. Write those 3 things out. Give me a short 1 to 2 sentence reason why, and that's it for today. An easy way to do this is to make sure you can time yourself. We call it like an AMRAP method, right? This is kind of like a secret third protocol here. Give yourself 1 to 2 minutes, 1 to 3 minutes, and set a timer. And just write for 1 to 3 minutes. What ends up happening is that when you reach that timer going off, you're like, oh, I still have a lot more to say. I'm gonna go for another minute or 2. That timer goes off. Oh, I got another minute or so in me. Rather than setting a timer, I'm gonna write for 30 straight minutes today, and I've only written for 4 and I'm completely drawing a blank, and now you're bummed. Rather than being really pumped and encouraged that you just wrote for 4 straight minutes and I'm gonna do it again the next day. So give yourself 5 minute, that 1 to 3 to 5 minute, like that short, small window, because we all have 5 minutes in our day. We all have a lot more than that, but we're gonna really make this accessible. Check it off the list for that day. That's a W, that's a win, that's a +1. Now we're gonna do it the next day. Hope this helps. Thanks.
What's up, guys? So when Ross and I were talking about starting this project, we tried to identify some things that really have been beneficial to us, and journaling has been paramount for the both of us, maybe for different reasons at different times, but I think it is a crucial element to the human experience, especially with so much incoming information day in and day out. I don't know that we give ourselves enough time or respect to process all of that. And that's where journaling helps me. It kind of helps me clear the fog, get some ideas down on paper, or get feelings down on paper. But more than that, I wanted to give you an anecdote from a professor of mine in college. I'm a pretty good student. I'm very much an audible learner. I can retain a lot of information very easily, and it's something I enjoy even more so. And that was the case in this class. So I wasn't taking a lot of notes, but I was engaged, I was listening. And one day after class, Dr. Smith asked me to detail some of the content in the class that day. And I went over 5 or 6 bullet points, and he was pleased with that. But then he started asking me some of the details, some of the things from one series that led to the other, and all of the events in between. And I couldn't detail those things. I couldn't even recall most of them. And this was an hour before. I started much later, of course, but I started looking at my life in the same context. I had done amazing things. I couldn't remember all the details. I'd been amazing places. I couldn't remember the things that I loved in all of those places. So when I started journaling, I wasn't really writing from an aspect of feeling like I needed to, or feeling like I was lost looking for some kind of answer. It became more of a chronicle detailing of what my day was like and what I do now to eliminate any excuse, because I was really, really good when I had my journal and I had my pen. I would sit down and I would dedicate to it on days that I wasn't, or days that I was out of town or just in a rush. I would give myself the out. So what I do now is, as my day goes, in my notes, I just make little entries in there. put a timestamp, maybe make a detail about, what I had for breakfast, or if it's, something, a conversation or a meme, any kind of thing. I just put the hyperlink in there in my notes. I can access it again later. And then at the end of the day, I have something to review and kind of think on, and maybe something that stuck out that I didn't have time to really consider then. I can write about it in that moment, or I can just give a synopsis detailing all of those things a little bit further at the end of the day or even the next day. But the point is, as things are happening or shortly after they're happening, I'm giving myself a chance to detail them in a way so that I don't forget the important stuff, the good stuff, the minutia. So if you're looking at starting journaling and you're trying to figure out how to get going, here's one question that I can tell you that will always, always get you going. And the thing about it is, it's always going to be the truth if you can be truthful. How was your day? Start writing it down. Just if you have nothing else to write about, if you have no other inspiration, just start detailing hour by hour or little by little what you did that day, and just keeping track of yourself. Oh, this Thursday I went out with my friends, got a little too drunk, no big deal. Went out again Friday, went out again Saturday. And if you look back through your journal, you can start to see why your life is where it is, whether that's good, whether that's bad, whether that's on the climb, whether that's on the fall down. You can start to track the behaviors and patterns that lead you to this path. If you've got that down, if you can just tell the truth about what your day was, you're going to be good at journaling. But beyond that, what I would encourage you to do is to start asking yourself, who am I? What does it mean to be me? Why do I have the things that I have? Why am I lacking the things that I don't? What are wants of mine? What are dreams of mine? What are goals of mine? How can I become a better son, father, brother, husband, boyfriend, whatever it is? You can detail these out into such simplistic things. Look at your life. Look at the things that are great. Be thankful for those. Write about those things in a grateful manner where you're actually giving notice and recognition to things that make you feel good. And on the other hand, you're going to have to dig in and you're going to have to ask yourself some hard questions if you really want to propel your life somewhere else other than where it is currently. Dig in, do the work. You got no excuses now. Have an awesome day. Peace.